You've always wondered how the Dianoga got aboard the Death Star.
Okay.
Right.
You come to the Rancho Obi-Wan experience and you shall see for yourself.
Secrets revealed at Rancho Obi-Wan.
Yeah, well, you know, expanded universe and all that.
How to transport a Dianoga.
So this is not EU, this is SU. This is the Steve universe.
Well, we have the Dave universe. We can have the Steve
That's right,
universe,
absolutely.
too, so,
We all have our own canon, right?
We do.
It's a big universe.
And a big cannon.
That's a big cannon
to shoot you with, or I don't know. I don't know. But it's great to be here again.
Yeah,
we've done this a couple of times at celebrations.
We have.
Imagine this is despite that number, the numeral that you see, this is actually the 8th celebration because we've had Celebration Europe and Celebration Japan. Has anybody been to all 8 celebrations?
We got a prize if you've been to all 8.
I've been to all of them except one and Europe.
Someone been to all 8? I thought I saw a hand.
I have.
There we go.
I have.
Don't count.
All right. You win a T-shirt.
How about who's been to 7 of the 8? Anyone been to 7 of the 8?
7 of 8 celebrations. How about 6 of 8? That's
6
me.
of 8?
Anybody
Six
been
of
to
8?
all 6
First hand,
US
I saw this gentleman right here.
Great.
We got the Star Wars cookbook, Wookiee cookies and other galactic recipes. There's some yummy stuff in here. There you go, my friend.
There you go.
Yes,
Congrats.
there you go. 6 of 8 conventions.
So after Celebration 1, did you think there would be another one?
No. He says no.
That's the right answer.
Mudstock, right? Mudstock. It was hard.
Mudstock,
But actually,
indeed.
Steve, now is that correct? Because there was a 10th anniversary convention, technically, right? In '87.
Yeah, but this was the So if you talk about official Star Wars conventions, this will be the 9th.
The 9th.
The 10th anniversary convention wasn't called the Celebration and was a much different concept than this one was. It was also put on by Starlog Magazine and Creation Con.
Oh, okay.
And I was there attending, so I guess I've been to all 9
Holy
Star Wars
cow.
conventions. So
That's great.
That was in LA, and it was pretty great.
How many conventions do you think you've been to all together? Not just Star Wars Celebration, but Comic-Cons, etc., all over the world.
Well, when I first started for Lucasfilm in '96, I probably attended 60 conventions in 6 months.
Wow.
So, I mean, all over the U.S.
How is that even possible?
Because sometimes I spent a weekend going from like Maryland to Philadelphia.
Wow.
So Baltimore to Philly. And so it was like from April to October.
Wow.
And so I would say probably 300 to 400 conventions around the world in the last 15 years.
Now, not only can your collection be considered the world's largest, I think that is the most conventions attended by any one person.
Would anybody be crazy enough?
Exactly.
Shatner.
Well, you see, we can qualify that. So probably the most conventions attended for someone who wasn't paid to attend them.
Ooh.
Oh.
Who went out of love for fandom and
There we go.
fellowship.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Passion personified, Steve Sansweet. That's awesome.
And I've met some wonderful, wonderful people who've become long-term friends. You know, Italy, Finland, Australia, Ireland, Poland, Spain,
all corners,
UK,
everywhere.
It's amazing.
Even though that was a grueling travel schedule, it had to have helped you build your collection, right? Because of being able. Did you have time to get out and see stuff?
Yeah, you make a little time.
Walmart, Italy, or whatever?
Walmart, Italy, yeah. No, I mean, a lot of the things that I would find would be the handmade items, especially in Mexico, which has really become the focus of my collection, the fan-made items and art.
Right.
I mean, because these are original, these show passion of fans as well as their skills. So, that stuff is really very, very special.
What's amazing about the handmade and fan-made stuff is that there's probably no franchise, no brand in terms of scope of merchandise, no bigger than Star Wars. But fans still find a way to fill in gaps.
They do.
It's incredible.
I mean,
like the ForceCast T-shirt, Steve.
Yes, like
with its original logo.
Like the ForceCast T-shirt. No, it is amazing that people will find time to make bantha wagons and bent wood R2-D2s and tin plate turned into Millennium Falcons as big as the Hasbro Millennium Falcons.
Right.
It never ceases to amaze me. And I think one of the reasons for that is Lucasfilm has been always very open and very attentive to fandom from the very beginning, back in 1976, when 20th Century Fox didn't really know how to market Star Wars. Right. No movie theaters were interested in booking it. What did they do? Well, the company, the head of marketing, was a comic book geek. He had gone to the early, I mean, San Diego Comic-Con didn't start till 1970. Here was 1976, and a guy named Charlie Lippincott said, hey, let's take it right to the... You never let Jimmy Mack take over anything.
But you're talking about Lippincott.
So this Charlie Lippincott says, let's take it right to the fans. So in '76, he did Worldcon, San Diego Comic-Con, and newscasters, when opening day and lines around the 32 theaters that played Star Wars. How did these people know about it? Well, they knew about it because Lucasfilm reached out directly to the fans, and so I followed in a long line of people at Lucasfilm who were really tied to fans, and I tried to take it to the next level. But there was that path that had already been carved out there.
We were talking to Dave Collins a week ago on the ForceCast, and he was talking about when Jedi came out, in the lines around the theater. And that was the one that he was, by that time he was old enough to really, really remember. Do you think we'll ever see anything like that again?
Well, we saw it for Harry Potter books.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Are you talking about the Star Wars world?
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. That's a very good question. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens at Lucasfilm. I have no inside information whatsoever.
Sure, we can't...
about now that George is retiring and Kathleen Kennedy is coming on, and we all know she's a filmmaker, and we'll see what happens. I mean, she has very clearly been quoted in the media as saying, I want to make films. What kind of films? I don't know. But
what could possibly lure a film producer like Kathleen Kennedy to a company like
Take her away from her own production company with her name on the marquee,
and with her husband,
Frank Marshall.
Yeah, but,
to come over to Lucasfilm. What could it be?
I think that's great. I think George couldn't have found anybody that he would be more comfortable with, who has been more active in the film business,
a member of
who's
the
known
family
for 40 years. Yeah. So I think that bodes very, very well for the future of Lucasfilm.
Speaking of George and his exit, maybe you can kind of speak to this, Steve, as someone who was employed by Lucasfilm for over a decade, right?
15 years.
15 years. What's something special, unique, that even though, George was way up in the ivory tower, but what did he bring to the culture of Lucasfilm that is special, and regardless who takes over the reins, will always be important contribution?
I think he brought the importance of storytelling and good storytelling to Lucasfilm, and the perseverance to stick through a project even though everybody told him, you can't do it. We're going to take away your budget. Once he went through that twice in Hollywood with his first 2 pictures,
right.
George said, the only way to make movies is to make them independently. And that's what Star Wars came out of, and he was prescient enough, and with all his advisors, to do a deal that enabled him to make this amazingly successful movie, and then really regain the copyright and take it over and make it his own way.
Do you think the brand, because I know there is some anxiety out there, I hear it from fans, is the brand tough enough, strong enough to survive George's exit? What do you think?
I think George is leaving so much when you look at the expanded universe, when you look at the creativity, when you look at people he's brought in like Dave Filoni, when you see Kathleen Kennedy, when you know that, they've been working behind the scenes on lots of other different projects, from video games to, turning online around to, I was on a panel this morning just hearing all kinds of great things about what was going to come up in the next 6 months to a year with StarWars.com. And it was very exciting to me as a fan to hear that that focus is very much in place, and people very much recognize the need to keep Star Wars strong. Obviously, just among us fans, you keep Star Wars active for the next, 20, 30 years, but it's going to take, it's